Hello, my name is John Pendragon. I'm going to record my coming out story on an uninterrupted version of the video. I did it live yesterday, but then I got some conversations going on and it kind of made me lose track of what my story was and where I left off. So I'm going to tell the story again and just post this on YouTube instead of on Twitch. And just have the link there for people to have if they want to hear it. And I'm also gonna just have some music in the background and get some stuff done in World of Warcraft because I didn't get anything done yesterday. So again, my name is John Pendragon. I live in Maryland. I was born in the state of California, in Eureka to be exact. It's way up north. It's about 3 hours south of the Oregon border, and it's on the coast. It's a nice area, but it's overrun with like drug problems. Meth is a big thing. There's a pot industry there. It's not my favorite place to be anymore. It actually never was. And so I didn't know really what gay was growing up. I mean, I knew the word and stuff, but it wasn't really a thing that crossed my mind for me. I guess as a kid, I was talked to by my dad, who raised me, my stepdad, about, oh, no, don't do this, don't be gay, because, like, I remember getting talked to for, like, not hitting someone in the balls or, like, trying to pants someone. I mean, it was just being boy stuff. It wasn't a gay thing. Trying to pants someone to humiliate them. That was what little boys did back then, right? And it was early 90s. And, wasn't any sexual thing behind it, but I just remember, having a chat like, oh, that's not okay for boys to do and stuff. It's like, oh, pantsing someone's funny. It's like, you see in your underwear, you see it in the cartoons all the time where they have the hard underwear on. So anyway, my aunt told me that she would remember my stepdad saying, oh, don't be gay, Johnny, don't be gay. But I don't remember any of that stuff. And, I also had depression, back when I was a kid too, but I was never diagnosed with it until I was 32. But I was always picked on about it, instead of actually being looked at, oh, what's wrong with him? It was, oh, poor abused Johnny. He's gonna go whine to grandma, and it made me feel bad for being sad about something. It's like, no, there was an issue, but my mom was young and stupid. She still is stupid. I have no respect for that woman at all. So, I didn't really realize anything about myself until it started when I was 16. So that was 18 years ago. So that was about 2000. Well, no, I'm sorry. It was when I was 14, when I was in 7th grade. I was in homeroom class, and I was talking with the guys. I wasn't popular, but it was just, we said dumb stuff, and so I asked the question, if you were gay, or if you were a girl, or if you were gay, who would you like? And as soon as I asked that question, I gave my answer right away. I didn't even have this thought out. I didn't plan this. I didn't think of the repercussions. I'd like one. And I was like, I was teased so much by that, and I was just assumed to be the gay kid, but it didn't cross my mind. That was just something dumb I said, but then it was bugging me because I was wondering, it's like, am I gay now? It's like, I didn't know what that meant in anything, so it was, it just bothered the hell out of me, and then I convinced myself that, I wasn't gay or bi, I wasn't attracted to guys, I was just jealous because they were better looking than me. That's what I felt, so that's how I rationalized it, and it was fine. And there was only like one or two couple things that came up after that, in 8th grade, but then they were just teasing me about other stuff. I mean, I was bullied growing up. I have memories of being a kid, and I was just bad. I'm bipolar, I have depression, and I have anxiety issues. And I also know there's something quite off about me. I'm a little slow. I don't really know what to call it. I was never, what do you I was never diagnosed with anything, and a doctor told me that, you know, usually this stuff's found out when you're a child, and it's kind of hard to diagnose when you're in your 30s. But I'm definitely not the quickest one there, so it makes growing up in a society where everyone's quote unquote normal, it makes it very difficult because I'm not what someone's considered normal. It's really hard. So 8th grade, I know I was past the whole thing. I remember, I got so upset. My mom started actually noticing, you know, the few times she was a mother. And she was like, you know, asking me what was wrong, and I was crying, and I was like, oh, people think I'm gay, and it's like, are you? It's like, no, you're not. And I remember, I just remember this. My stepdad who raised me, he, they had this family friend over, and they were asking, what do you call it? We're watching some stupid show, and he's like, oh, there's this chick in the bathtub. Oh, she's hot. And I was like, oh, you wouldn't fit. And my dad's like, you're fucking gay. And it was just right around the time when I was being teased at school. But it was just like, oh, I was just making a fat joke because, you know, that's what mom and dad did. They teased him because he was fat. His nickname was Fat Fucker, FF. And so that's how we knew him. And he was an unfortunate piece of crap who just did too much drugs and wasted his life. Anyway, high school comes around, you know, I'm away from those kids that do the rumor. It's sort of a fresh start, so I can be fine on my own and not have to deal with that drama. And there was something changed that I didn't really know. I went to my first high school football game because that's what the thing to do was go to the game and go to the dance afterwards. And at one of the games, I was talking to my friend's mom, and I was saying the top of the cheerleaders there because they were, you know, right in front of us, and my friend was cheerleading, Caitlin, and the mom told me that it was okay to have a crush on multiple girls at once. I was like, oh, I can because like all these girls were pretty. I didn't know them. Drew, be quiet. Sorry, my cat is really annoying. So you're gonna hear me telling her to be quiet every now and then. So she told me that. It's like, okay, then I want that. I like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I counted all 10 cheerleaders. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, that was kind of being silly. But what I didn't realize was, and I don't know if I vocalized it, was one of them was a boy. Never even heard of a boy cheerleader before. And that just blew my mind. It was fascinating. And I think I maybe oh wait, oh sorry, that's a boy. I didn't see that one. But, you know. And this was up in a kind of a redneck town, and it wasn't like religious like Kentucky, but it was definitely a lot, you know. You didn't want to really be gay there. So I was just so fascinated with this guy. Didn't know him, some beautiful Asian guy. His name's Peng. He's a really good friend of mine. He was just so amazing. So after the game was over, I chased him down and told him how I thought it was awesome he was cheerleading, and I shook his hand, and that was it. I was just totally not aware of what was going on. And then after that, nothing else happened. I would see him around school and stuff, and our eyes would meet because you remember me. We never talked, you know. And he had a girlfriend, and I didn't think anything of it. It was just I just kept seeing him, you know, he'd see me, I'd see him. But there was nothing weird about it. I mean, it was just kind of a silent hello. I don't know. Never put much thought into it. Same thing happened my sophomore year. This was 2001. And I would see him around. But then something changed that year. We had don't attack me. We had a new guy come to our school named Justin. And he was more, feminine, same thing, I think. And I mean, I guess stereotypically, you know, some would say stereotypically gay just because he was really feminine compared to, you know, other guys in that school. And I don't know where he was from, but he lived with his grandparents who were there. And he rode my bus and stuff. I didn't know much about him, but my friend had a crush on him. She did, and she had a crush on a lot of the gay guys, and she turned out to be lesbian, which is kind of awesome and ironic at the same time. She was really religious. So Justin was just, I didn't talk to him, but he had the feminine voice and mannerisms and stuff, and it was, you know, Didn't think anything of it. Didn't really think, oh, that guy's gay. I mean, I might have, but I don't remember that much about that. And so, one day towards the end of the semester, I think it was, Justin, I didn't see this myself, but I was like, oh, did you hear what happened? The two guys were macking on each other in the hallway. Like, that was the term I heard, macking on each other. And I was like, oh, what's that? And, and I knew who it was right away. And so, and it bothered me so much, and it festered in my head. And I don't know how much time went by, where it bothered me, but I just remember at one point, I came home, I shut my bedroom door, and I was angry. I was so mad. And like, I hate this word, but I said it. I think I said fucking faggots. I was like, and when I said that, it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And that's like, but the thing is, the thing that was weird was that I just like immediately figured it out. I was like, oh, I'm jealous because that was my Asian guy. Peng was mine. I liked him, but I didn't realize I liked him. I never acknowledged it. And so then it's like, oh, wow, I'm gay. Or I said I was bi, because like, okay, I'm still, if I'm going to hell, I'm half saved or half whatever, half straight. Let me backtrack a little bit. Twice, actually. Before the 7th grade thing, or maybe a little bit after that, and Savage Garden was big, I had a dream about the lead singer of Savage Garden being naked, and I just remember fixated on his male part, his dick. So, and it was erect. I was like, okay, I don't know why, that dream really confused the hell out of me. And but that really messed with my head too, but I still convinced myself it was just, I wasn't gay, I was just jealous of the guy's looks. Before Justin and Peng happened, before my wake up, what was I gonna say? I got into the Left Behind series. It was like this book about the rapture, and the people left behind had to come to the second coming of Jesus and be ready for the battle against the Antichrist, blah blah blah. I got totally into that shit. It was all I talked about. I became a true Christian. I said the prayer, which was the weirdest thing, but it was some special prayer that was specific wordings that made you a true Christian. That was the rules. Because you were a Christian, or you were a true Christian. A Christian didn't go to heaven. A true Christian did. Apparently you had to be better than them. So it's so stupid now that I'm like, woke, I guess is the term, and aware of what's all that dumb stuff. But yeah, it was, I didn't care about anything about religion after that, but I did have a couple things, like, I had a friend ask me what do you think about being lesbian or gay? It's like, oh, the Bible says it's bad, and that was the end of that, but I don't think she ever came out. I think by the time I talked to her about it, it was years later, and she was just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, but I think she was in the closet, and I don't think, anything's gonna happen of that, which really sucks. I mean, I would love for her to, like, my conversation saying, hey, remember how we said this? I feel bad, but, you could, definitely, maybe she'll come out and realize, like, the conversation I had, then she'll remember that, then she'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, and then, like, maybe she'll, find her own self. That'd be awesome. But I went to my friend after I had that realization. I had to think, oh, I'm gay, I'm bi. It's like, and I always would shudder at those words. So it's like, okay, well, why? So I had to tell myself, gay's not bad, gay's not bad, gay's not bad, gay's not bad. And it took me a bit to do it, but I wasn't afraid of saying that anymore. It didn't bother me. So I was like, okay, good, sweet. Got that out of my system. Went to my friend, Lexi, and I told her, and she's like, blah, 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 this, Jesus. And it's like, okay, well, I understand that. And I didn't want to hear that, but I mean, I trust her. I said, I think I'm bi. She's like, oh, you're probably not, but it's just the devil's tempting you, or something like that. It was just, standard religious rhetoric, they're gonna tell you shit like that. But she didn't really know, so, I mean, what the hell's going on? Come on. So, after that, I would bring up Justin and Peng in, like, art class and stuff, because the lady was, like, 80 or 70 years old. She didn't really give a shit. It was just art. You made us a paper mache turtle, you were good to go for the rest of the year. And it was required to take that class. I would bring it up in the conversation and trying to get people to see how they'd react to it, because I wanted to know, like, I wanted to see people who were cool with it, but like, you know, because I could bring it up on myself, but I never did. But it was never a conversation. It wasn't negative, but it wasn't positive. It was very neutral. I did have a friend in that conversation, Krista, who I completely lost touch with, and she said her mom was like an advocate for gay rights and stuff. She would help homeless gays and whatnot, you know, make sure they were homed. And so that was really cool. But I never saw her again after things got bad. Interesting. So yeah, like I couldn't get anyone positive on that. And I did have a friend before that. She was my neighbor. Her name's Amanda. She just got married to her wife, and that's really awesome. We had a like sex ed or some class together, but we talked about just different stuff, and we were taught that the gay men in New York would go into these abandoned buildings and fuck each other and just spread and share their AIDS. That's maybe some truth to that, but that was not what we should have been taught. And I don't know, I guess that teacher, he's not a homophobe. It was just talking about the AIDS pandemic back then, when people were aware of it, I suppose. But I remember talking to Amanda, and I said some kind of stupid joke, and she's about being bi, and she's like, so what if I am? And it was like, and that was the end of the conversation. We weren't mad. No one was mad. There was nothing. It was just, that was like, oh, pretty, a rainbow. So, yeah, we didn't go anything further than that. But I knew, I needed to tell someone. Find her treasure. I want to find your fucking treasure. Oh, I remember this. So, yeah, we didn't talk about that ever again, but, I knew I could go to her. So it came down to, I told my stepsister, because my mom was married to her third husband at the time, Dan, and, my stepsister knew, and, because she was good to talk to and comfortable to talk to, so, and she was on my side, so that was good. And her dad was likely a closet gay who was blinded by his religion, his faith, and not gonna have a happy life. He's very angry. He's also really bipolar, so it's sad for him. But I believe that he respects me as a human being because I'm not a piece of shit. I didn't throw my life away, and I'm doing pretty well, I think, after everything that happened to me. So anyway, I wanted to tell someone. That fucking asshole totally aggro these things. I hope that fucking guy gets banned. Sorry. So the semester comes towards the end, and I'm panicking because I was going to be home without friends for summer, and I had this thing I had to get off my chest. I had to tell someone. I was confused. I was afraid. I was alone. I didn't know what to do. So I tracked down Amanda because it's time to do, oh sweet, I'm done. Time to get, you know, the yearbook signed. So I managed to get her pulled away. She's like, I gotta tell you something. I was like, I gotta go. She said, it's like, well, this is really important. And fuck, I still haven't killed that fucking bug. It keeps getting in my face. And when we talked about that later, she was like, what, you tell me you're gay? But like, you know, that was it. And so when I told her, like, I think I'm bi, and she's like, oh gosh, here, take my email address down, and then contact me later over the summer. So then we got down, we were cool using Hotmail at the time, and I had my secret email because we had AOL at home, and then if my mom wants, she can go and look at the kids' accounts and see what was going on. So the Hotmail was a separate one, and it was protected. So, god damn it. I might have stunned it. I hope it did. So, talked to Amanda, but it was really difficult because, you know, coming out, it was different for girls to come out because, you know, at least as this perspective of a straight male, oh, that's hot, lesbians are so cool, blah, 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 but ew, gay guys are gross. So, I wanted something more to talk about, but from a guy, and plus I had a crush on Pang, and, I really wanted to just, you know, hey, I'm also gay. So that happened, and also before that, I don't want to forget this part. At some point, I was riding the bus home, and I always sat in the front of the bus because I hated being around the other kids. The bad kids sat in the back. I didn't want to be part of that because it's just shit happens back there. And the bus driver I had, she was always strict, but she loved me. She fucking loved me. And So one of the guys I went to school with, Arthur, I hadn't seen him for years. He disappeared. And I didn't never knew why. I just couldn't realize it. Because high school, you get separated from your friends. You don't see people after a long time. So, and Arthur was there. I was like, oh, how's it going? He's sitting at the front of the bus, too, for the same reason. And I was already, aware of... No. Okay. Never mind. I'll go to that story later. That comes up after school's out. So... Summer comes along, and I'm talking to Amanda and stuff, and she knew who Ping was. Ping didn't have his girlfriend anymore, but he was obviously with Justin and stuff, and they kept to the Breezeway area, which was like the alternative kids hung out, and they were safe. They never got beat up or bullied or anything. I'm sure were called bad names and stuff, but they had their girls and their friends, so they were protected. And this bug just needs to fucking learn fear and leave me alone. I want it to die. So I wanted to talk to Pang, and I didn't know how to get a hold of him, and I had no way of finding him or seeing him. So what I did was I left. I knew his brother worked at Walmart, so I wrote a letter to Pang, gave my email address, and then I put an envelope, and then I wrote a letter in the envelope saying, "Give to your brother. Please don't open this letter." And then I left it as work as Walmart, and then he got it to him. Pang was away for the summer for Upward Bound. It was a youth program. I don't exactly know what it was like for helping people get better education or something. But he was away for that, and he was staying down in Humboldt County, where I was born. But we lived up in Delnor County, which is more rednecky. And that was where a huge Hmong community is. Hmong is a group of Asian people who were mostly known to live around Laos in like the mountain regions of that area in China, and then they were being persecuted around for that time and for aiding us in like Vietnam War or something. So we brought a lot of them over to live in the States, and they put them in like Minnesota, parts of California and stuff. And they unfortunately don't have like a lot of impoverished areas, but they're definitely full citizens and whatnot. They're losing a lot of their culture, unfortunately, because it's just everything's becoming so whitewashed. Anyway, Pang finally emailed me, created an email just for me, and it was like ROYGBP boy BOI at hotmail.com, like the colors of the rainbow initials, and then BOI, because boy was the thing at the time to say for a gay boy. And so we talked about it and stuff. There was no dirty talk or anything. And it was just, I told him, and I told him how it was and stuff. And he kind of reminded me, he didn't remember specifics of seeing me, but, he did. And he got me in touch with, another gay guy he knew at school and stuff. And, I was like, that guy's all about sex. I was like, okay, whatever. And, we, became, oh, god damn it, don't attack that. Oh, thank you. Oh, no, you're my idiot. You're my idiot. Fuck you. Okay, so, yeah, we never met, though, and I didn't get a hold of Pang for a while. It was towards the end of the summer, I think, when the Upward Bound program ended. But, before that, the 4th of July, my mom and siblings went up to, somewhere in Oregon to stay with her husband's parents and stuff, and I wanted to come back home because I had this race to do. Really? Go away, Tree. I don't want to fight you. So, and I wanted to be back home because I wanted to be near my friends and have, access to my video games and stuff, not be stuck in that fucking house of, homophobic, religious, freaking bigoted parents of my mom's husband. So, I got to do my race and stuff, and I had to stay at Dan's house, and I would sneak out at night because he would work at, the prison. So I went and walked around town, went to Danny's and saw some friends, and it was kind of cool to be rebellious in the middle of the night. I was 16, but no one cared, and I didn't get pulled over or stopped by the cops. Thank goodness, but I was afraid. It was like, oh shit, he's gonna know I'm out. But the 4th of July thing happened, and I ran around. I was training for that, even though I was totally out of shape from running by that time. And I see Pang and Justin were walking around the park area for the festival, and I would follow them around, but I was trying to hope that they would see me, hey, how's it going? We saw you, you're cute or something, just so I could have a conversation. But they didn't notice. But I was terrified. But I was also talking to a couple friends, like Amanda I found, and her other friend who was by, whose name I forgot. I said I think I buy, but I also said, you know, it's easier that way to say it that way because I'm still half straight if, like, you know, things go bad. So there's hope for me. And they're like, no, you're probably gay, but I mean, like, you know, that was just everyone came out as bi at the time, if they're coming out at all. So that was the end of that summer, and Hang and I didn't meet until school started. August 4th was the big day. Yesterday was August 4th, and it was my 18th anniversary of coming out, which is why I'm telling the story. So during the summer, my mom just got extremely homophobic. Like, she was constantly dropping like these anti-gay remarks for no reason at all. And I was getting pissed at her, and she would just laugh at me. But she supposedly had no clue it was actually really upsetting me. And I didn't know why. It was just, they were so focused on everything gay that they were just like making fun of it and stuff. And I just couldn't handle it anymore. It's like, maybe if I come out, maybe she'll stop. So I had a plan, you know, by that time Justin and Peng knew who I was and stuff. I had this little internet boyfriend thing going on. He lived in Virginia. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll come out and then my mom will be better. It'll be like, oh, it's already new, and give me a hug, you know, we'll be fine, and she'll make her Dan stop being an asshole. So I wrote a letter to her, and I had Christina, my sister, give it to her, my stepsister. And they were going over to Dan's house, because Dan still lived over there, in his house, and to go set up his 40th birthday surprise. And I told Christina, okay, you call me and let me know, or contact me, let me know if something happens, so I know to run away, because I was ready to go. I had my backpack with some stuff in it, ready to go. I don't know what I packed. It was probably dumb. But I was ready to get the hell out of there. And she never let me know, and then she told me, it's like, what happened? What happened? It's like, oh, I never gave it to her. She just gave me some excuse. It's like, oh, that sucks. But she didn't have the note anymore, that she couldn't cough it back up. So, and I don't know if I asked her where it was. I think I was more afraid of, okay, I got off the hook, that I didn't think, give me that letter back. So, a day or so later, you know, Dan wanted me to go walk in the field with him for doing the irrigation pipes or something like that, and he just started talking about Jesus and Satan tempting, blah, 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 and I was like, oh, okay, got it. Yep, this happened, so my mom made Christina lie. Now, here's the funny thing. I didn't find this out till about a month or so ago, but I never knew how my mom actually reacted when when she gave the letter. So what happened was, my mom got the letter, she read it, and then she cried. It's like, oh, I always knew, I wish she told me in person, you know, like normal mom stuff. You know, but that's not what happened. That wasn't her reaction. And so, oh, hey, sweet, spider's up. That her reaction was way different. So I get to talk to Dan and stuff, and I'm being told, and my mom doesn't really say much, but she asked me, like, so, who's your favorite actor? Who would you fuck? Like, weird stuff. And I was like, I don't know, so caught up, like, Ben Affleck, and she kind of, like, laughed at me, like, oh, you're going to fight Christina for that. Like, she was trying to be my friend, but also trying to ridicule me, too. It was, I actually didn't even tell that, back when I was, when I first told the story last night. Oh, it didn't drop. So totally forgot that part. And that was Ben Affleck was hot. This was like Armageddon Ben Affleck, not like dad bod failed career Ben Affleck after J-Lo or whatever happened. So yeah, I can't believe I forgot this. So like they weren't gonna let me go to school. They were gonna, and my friends were corrupting me and all this stuff, so I wasn't allowed to have any freedom. And they were gonna send me to military school. And it was just, they weren't sure, and so it was just like that. So I remember one day I was out in the field listening to Everclear, because that's what I was listening to at the time. And I just started laughing. I was like, hold on. I started laughing to myself like a crazy person, just threw my bed out and ha 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 ha, just, but like in a crazy style laugh. And that I was like, I'm just gonna come back in and say it didn't happen and just pretend to make it go away. And so that's what I did. I just played it off. I was like, yeah, I just wanted attention. I don't really know how it came to that, but I managed to convince them, sort of, that I wasn't gay and it was just a thing and I'm over it. It's like, okay, whatever. But I think they still had their guards up. This goes this way. So, but they still weren't sure about letting me go to school. But I managed to go to school because, they never actually did anything about it and they never set to straighten me out. No, War Mode on. Fuck you, War Mode on. So I got to go to school, and things were very scary and nervous, but everything was okay, and I was kind of more like, I took choir and stuff, I took French, because I wanted to be more myself, and it was just like, I sang in choir board, but I was still afraid to take those classes, but at that point, I didn't give a fuck what people thought about me. It's like, I want to take choir because I like it, I like to sing. I want to take French. It's an interesting language. I should have taken Spanish. Spanish was way more useful than French. I don't remember anything from French. So, I'm more friends with Peng and Justin. We talk and stuff. I've got more girlfriends now, and I have more talking more about it. Like, I had a friend, Amber, where she's like, you bitch or butch? And I was like, joking around bitch and stuff. And people were like, whatever. It was fine. But it was the friends that never got to my family and stuff. So, and like, more people came out to, like, it was easier for me, and people like making more sense of it. Like, oh, okay, we kind of understand you more now. Got it. Well, that's good. And then, I think I said that. I believe I was yeah, never mind. I already talked about that. This has been so hard to remember a lot of this because I shoved and buried a lot of this in the back of my mind and I forgot a lot of it. So I want to bring this up because I want to share this with people because if they're wanting to come out, they need to know. But I'll touch on that a little bit later. Shut up with your thing. So I was fine at school and I was taking the bus home one day. And one of my old friends from 7th and 8th grade, Arthur, who was also my neighbor, he lived like right across the street but from me, in another piece of property with his dad. Their mom left and divorced or something. They might have been, she was gone by then. He was there and I haven't seen him for years. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And I was sitting in the front of the bus, and the bus driver, I've known her for a long time. She loved me to death. And I talked to her, she talked to me, it was really nice. She liked me. The one time I ever got in trouble on the bus was the day she wasn't there, and it was a complete misunderstanding. She's like, it was you? It's like, yeah, I know, right? I don't do this stuff. It's like, oh, you're like my best kid. But Arthur was there, and I was talking to him, and it was like, oh, yeah. And it's like, and I saw his nails were like kind of glittery. Oh, you're fucking annoying me. Oops, what just happened? Hold on. There we go. So I was talking to Arthur, I saw his fingernails were painted like with kind of a clear glittery color. It's like, oh, I said, oh, that's kind of gay. And he's like, well, I am gay. It's like, oh, me too. And we were just so excited that, and Shirley, the bus driver, she was like really happy for that. She wasn't homophobic, wasn't a bigot. She had like a little piece of property with horses and stuff. She was great. So she loved us, and she was really happy in that little moment there. And so Arthur and I was, we're chatting stuff, and he had big time feelings for Justin. Justin and Peng broke up because Justin was a little too wild for Peng, and Peng was wanting love, and he believed in love and wanted to keep the Taurus. Justin was more of the wild side. I don't remember his birthday, but I didn't really care. So Arthur was in love with Justin. He wasn't out to his dad, but his dad was kind of, always really angry and quiet. And so Arthur and I had a moment where he came over. My mom wasn't home when I got my first, let's call it an oral presentation. With this coming out thing, you're gonna, honestly, you gave me a blowjob there. And if the news is talk about violence and guns and murder and everything, we have video games about killing people. There's no reason why we can't talk about, say, sexual terms. So, you know what? Yep, got my first blowjob. It was different because I don't remember much. I was more afraid that my mom would come home. So, fucking assholes. So, after that, that was that, but we were just friends. He had feelings for me, but I didn't have feelings for him. I was still hooked on Peng. At some point, now this is where things got bad. This is the year that the two towers were attacked, on September 11th. I remember it was like I was talking in class, we were all watching the TV, and everyone just got quiet. I was like, "Shut up, John." I'm like, "Oh shit, this is scary," but still really confused what happened. But that was a Tuesday. The Monday after that, I came home from school. Like my mom was on the phone all night, and I was it was really weird. Um, and she wanted me to sleep with my bedroom door open, to leave my keys on this little stand outside of her bedroom door. It's like, okay, she wouldn't tell me why. She kept her door shut, and she was talking on the phone. So I unplugged the phone from the wall, but left it in the socket just slightly enough to look like it was there, but it was still unplugged just to fuck with the phone call, because I knew what she was talking about. I don't know how I knew, but I knew. And the fact that she wanted my bedroom door open when I slept, and that she made me leave my keys was there. So I managed to keep my keys and take some personal stuff that could out other people and whatnot. Um, and so I did that, and so that was fine. Um, and I went to school, and I was nervous. There's my bird. I was nervous. I was afraid. I went to talk to my counselor, Kobe Campbell, and I told her everything. Counselor's supposed to have your back, and she did. She was told like, "Oh my gosh," and she was just wonderful, amazing person. And so I told her everything. She's like, you're gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you, but just on the small chance it does, tomorrow, and that was Tuesday on the 18th. Tomorrow, she said, the first thing you need to do is to come to my office and check in with me. If you do not, I'm going to assume something has happened to you, and I'm going to check in on you. Like, okay, we'll do it. Finished the rest of the day at school. Got a weird call from my mother, saying that, well, I got a note from the school, because what they do, something happens, they'll call the office will pass the note to the students, the student aides will go deliver it, blah, blah, blah. Got a note to call my mom. So I got a class, call my mom, and all she said was, "I love you." And those words have never resonated with me good ever again. It was the worst 3 words I had ever heard. And they were so out of context and out of place, and it scared the shit out of me. I was so afraid after that. And I was like, "I love you" is supposed to be a good thing, a positive thing, but no, it was bad. There was nothing hinting that it was negative either. It was just so out of character and weird. It was almost like she was saying goodbye to me. And I was afraid. I was so afraid. And I didn't know what to do, and I panicked. And I blamed Justin, because we would take the same bus home, and I shoved her. I was like, "You told her." I was pissed, because I panicked. It wasn't his fault. I believe I apologized for him after that, but we never had a good ending as friends. So instead of, I just went home, like, okay, told him my fear, I'll be fine, nothing's wrong. I'm walking up a long driveway, my mom's on the porch, she didn't see me, but then, well, she might not, she might have saw me, but it was just really weird. She was sitting there at the time that I was coming home from school, and so I walk up, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Oh, here he comes, I gotta go." And I was like, "Okay, this is bad." And she grabs my backpack, rips it off of me, she kicks me in the shin so hard, I still have a scar from where she kicked me. And that was 18 years ago. And that was the 18th of September, 2001. Yeah, 2001. If I said 2011 earlier, I meant 2001, because it was 18 years ago. So I can't remember the words she said. I was in such shock, because I knew it was the end. It was over. She's like, "You're not going to this school anymore, and you're doing this. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to see those friends again." So I ran off to my room, and my bedroom door was locked from the outside. The lock that I got permission to put on there to keep my siblings from going to my room and messing with my stuff and allow me to have privacy, because I was 16, was locked from the outside. I couldn't go in my room. I couldn't have access to my stuff. Couldn't have anything. Luckily, any letters and emails and stuff I had, that was all protected and hidden, so they couldn't access that stuff. And I took the stuff that I said my mom took my keys to that before. I took them and put them in my locker at school, just to keep him safe. That was a one safe place. And so I I had to sleep on the couch, and I was so afraid, and I got another talk with Dan in the barn, this time by who I told. And he's like, "Why'd you do this? Blah blah blah." And it was just gonna spread and tell everyone. I was like, I didn't care, and I got more Jesus talk. I got the talk about, you people can tell you all your life that the sky is green, but it's really blue, which I can actually use the same argument against him to defend myself. But I was young at the time. I was afraid. Didn't know what to do, and I didn't have any arguments or any facts like I do now. I could totally take and destroy any argument with the Bible bullshit to defend myself. So I was gonna go back to school. I couldn't go online. We had a second phone in the house. I was able to use that to call people and let them know what happened, and I couldn't get away, and I was afraid. And luckily, this day-old Baja Blast Mountain Dew. At first, it wasn't the sun, then it wasn't the fridge. I've been finally finishing it. Luckily, I wasn't more physically abused, but I had to go everywhere with my mom. And they took me to school Wednesday, on the 19th, and of September. And I had to take my youngest brother with me, and she said, "You take him with you, and you go get independent study from your teachers." So I did that, but instead of doing that, I went and I interrupted the classroom, and I was bawling, and I managed to tell Peng and Amanda what happened, and they were scared for me, and I told Lexi and Krista what happened. They were scared for me. My teacher was there, I didn't show up to class the day. She was scared for me. My mom was in the office chewing out the counselors and for letting this happen and blah, blah, blah. She made a whole ruckus in the school. And all those people I never saw again, but I did manage to go up years later, and I did visit people, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're okay." It's because no one knew what happened to me. I was gone. I vanished completely. Social services, they had sent cops out to my mom's property to look for me, thinking I was dead, or under the house or something. And was completely cut off from all my friends, and my mom would leave her cell phone in the car and stuff, so I was managed to make phone calls behind her back and just to keep people updated on my status. But what happened, one of the things that happened was more the mental games I did. I was no longer able to sit at the head of the table. I was no longer a man. So I had to sit at the side of the table with the girls, because it was demeaning and belittling to be a girl. And being gay was just as bad, according to my mom's husband. And I had to stand up and tell them that I was bi. My brother goes, "What?" And he was 13 at the time, so he didn't know anything. But it was just, how else do you react when you're a stupid kid and hearing jokes like that? But he was supportive until he ended up going to prison, coming out to be a racist, bigoted, homophobic Nazi Trump supporter. Unfortunately, I would not be surprised if he was responsible for a shooting. It would... He's not that bad, but I would not be shocked. So, and all this, my mom, I guess I got some clothes and stuff. My mom made me go live with my father, who I didn't really know. I knew who he was, but he never raised me. He wasn't really in my life. But my grandfather, because she wanted me to feel bad and guilt tripping all this and try to get me out. Oh, I know all these gay friends, and they're going to hate it. They're going to hate everything. They'll tell you that themselves. Where the fuck are you getting this stuff, Mom? That's not true. They're going to say, "You're a crazy-ass bitch. Your son needs help to get away from you. That's the help he needs." So I was sent away to live with my father in Eureka, California. And I didn't know him enough. I knew who he was. It's really weird to look at the camera. I don't like it. I didn't know him really. I didn't know who he was, but I knew enough of him. It's okay, fine, whatever. You're my dad. You love me, and this is your chance to have your son in your house. Okay, sweet, whatever. So I'll go live with my father, and I'll see my grandpa. My grandpa said then you would still be able to see your friends and stuff, whatever. So I get sent down there, and they walk through the mall or something. I remember this. I didn't say this yesterday. I forgot it. As I'm walking behind them 5 feet, and I'm just kind of in this invisible chain. Because I run off, they're just gonna trap me, and they could send me to kid jail or something. And they see this gay guy walk by with his girlfriend. They're kind of like the man there's a neck thing. And he just kind of both stare him down and like laugh at him. And it was just this horrible feeling. And I just want to be like, please help me, please help me. So I get over there and like my dad has the back bedroom and stuff. And it's kind of set up with this shitty falling apart bed. Well, my grandpa was dumb and he broke the plywood in half to make it fit in the car, which made the bed fall apart even more. And I said something snappy at Dan. It's like, was kind of the attitude, what the fuck are you gonna do? I'm with my dad now. 50-50 custody. I finally chose to stay with him, so you can't do shit. So they left, and a bit later, they finally came back and brought me like my Nintendo 64 and my clothes and a bunch of my stuff that was mine. So I wasn't completely cut off. But on the 21st of September, I think, or no, the 20th, one of those 2 days, I was taken to Arcata High School and started there. My grandpa got me into the school and stuff. I got into choir right away. I didn't really know how to read music. I understood what the symbols and notes meant, so that was good. So music was kind of my salvation to keep me from killing myself because I didn't have anything. My mom totally ruined me. She cut that invisible tie, that, you know, ghost umbilical cord that binds a mother between a child. It was severed. It was like, it was the worst thing, and it was sad because right after she went through her divorce, she went through some trouble things. Her father dies the next year. Her mother dies in 99, and then that my stepdad, her second husband, divorced after 14 years of being together. He leaves my mom for a 16-year-old girl when he was 32, and that girl was a friend of mine in school, so that's kind of stupid. And then she gets a gift from grandma, as she says, and this is Dan, and then I come out. She makes the thing about her. She said I was aggressive and violent. That's why they sent me away. That was her story. She was embarrassed by it. And she blames Dan for everything. But no, she said I was aggressive because she was so fucking crazy and bipolar. She would violently attack the kids, and she came at me once with a fist, and I grabbed her by the wrist, and I held her off and kept her off me, and I kind of pushed her back, and it startled her enough to get to my room and shut the door until she, her crazy calmed down. The thing of my mom is she was abused as a kid, supposedly. She's extremely bipolar, unmedicated. She was spoiled and given everything. Her birth mother is an active prostitute at 68 or 69 years old who almost let my mother die. My mother almost let me die as a baby. Didn't change me, didn't take care of me. She cheated on my father when I was born, and she had issues. But does no way forgives her for what she's done and how she's treated people throughout her life. So I go to the school. I'm in a new school. People I didn't know. I think I knew one person there from 4th grade. It was my first girlfriend ever, and we never officially broke up, so she dumped me then. I think I had a couple other friends there that I made, but I haven't kept in touch with anyone from there. I didn't like going there. It wasn't the school I wanted to go to. But my grandpa gave me more freedom, so I had shirts that was like, I'm not gay, my boyfriend is, and all these Hot Topic things, and I was very loud, and I was angry. I so much angered, so my anger came out as me being a loud out gay guy. I had yellow pants and a bright backpack and shit like that. And I just didn't give a fuck anymore, and I was so bad, and I was also depressed. Sometimes I'd be really sad. Didn't know how to dress. I had no fashion. I didn't learn that till the 7th or 8th, it's not my junior year or my senior year. It's gay guys dress well. You dress really bad. It's like, really? Is it no clue? It's like, yeah. So I changed my wardrobe after that, and I looked better. That was a little funny thing. I got a job working at KFC. My aunt and uncle were the managers, and they were like, well, should we? And they was like, oh, we have our nephew here. He thinks he's gay or he's gay coming. So and then one of the guys who was in prison was like, oh, well, do you want me to tell him how it is to scare him back and stuff? I was like, no. And I had some homophobes. I stood up to one guy. It's like, he kept calling me Skittles. So I said, are you going to taste the rainbow or what? And he shut the fuck up after that. He never fucking called me Skittles again. And I held up my own for that. I remember the principal and the vice principal walking past me, seeing my gay shirt, and they said, is that shirt okay? It's like, it looks like he can handle himself. They were kind of homophobic then. The school's improved since then. They denied me a gay straight alliance, but then they allowed some other girl to do it later on. It was kind of annoying how it all happened. And all they talked about was going to Disneyland. It's like, okay, that's great. That has nothing to do with solving issues or making the lives better for people to come out. I didn't talk to my mom for a long time. I remember one time I was at my grandparents, they got a computer, and so I was able to go online with AOL, and I had a secret thing on there, so my mom didn't know to talk to. I was in touch with everyone. My internet boyfriend was confused and mad at me. Apparently my mom went on my internet screen name and was talking to him and pretending to be me just to fuck with him and to make him really afraid and stuff. And I found out that my mom's friend, who was our Aunt Tina, we called Aunt Tuna because that was what Mom said to call her because it was funny, she told my mom everything, that I was still gay, that about the blowjob with Arthur. She told her everything. So that conversation my mom was on the phone was Tina telling her everything, and I was going to run away to Virginia to be with my internet boyfriend after that. And so that was her fear for me, but she completely outed me and like not understanding how bad it was, and like she's another problem. She used to be on drugs and it fucked with her head too. But anyway, that's who outed me. So it was never Justin. So Justin, I apologize too, but then we had another falling out and I finally called him on his bullshit. But that's not a story that needs to be told. That's done. So I'm fine. My mom comes by randomly. She has this, when she's happy to see me, I'm on the computer, and she goes and just kind of bursts in my grandparents' house, doesn't knock on the fucking door or anything, and just walks in happy to see me like I want to see her. It's like, no, fuck no, get away from me. And I had one of my gay shirts on, and she's pissed. She's so mad and stuff and everything, and I changed the shirt and I hid it. Because I had it over another shirt, and she was just flipping out, and like, she had all these rules, like, you're working now, you have to put your money in this bank account, and I'm going to control it. You can't have access, you can't pull me out, you can only deposit it. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't do anything. I cut her off. I had a cell phone, I had contact my friends. I was fine. My grandpa was like, you can't do anything, you don't have custody anymore. He's 50-50 and he's with his dad now, so I was safe. And I think I still got my stuff, but she was so pissed. And I don't think there was a visit after that. But I avoided her for a long time, and for many, 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 many months. And she ended up contacting me and crying and like, oh, if I die, we're gonna regret this happens, and it's never gonna be better. It's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's just get this over. And she apologized, sort of, but not really apologizing. She made me think she apologized, and my head's still sideways. What the hell? Okay, this is the left side of my head, so this needs to go that way. Okay, that's better. Gotta represent the Zelda the right way. So, it's fine, we're talking again, and then, things are okay. I would see her when she came into town. I wouldn't go up and visit, not on my own. Mom was still too young. I didn't go up safe. I did go up to Crescent City to go visit friends a couple times. I went to my winter ball that I was denied. Yeah, and I ended up making out with Arthur there, but then nothing happened. He had really chapped lips, and I was called a fucking faggot by Alex something. But he's now friends with gay people on Facebook, so hopefully he got his head out of his ass and grew up. And I lost touch with a lot of friends up there because they're all in a redneck town, and some came out. Lexi turned out to be at least bisexual. She never told me her story, how she ended up realizing that the whole struggle she was going with was that she was gay. And she was trying to fight religion and what it was telling her about herself, that it was wrong. My mom, I was going to my first gay pride after I was 18. My mom didn't come to my high school graduation, which she should have. It was the one thing her mother wanted to live for, not the hooker, the one who died, was that, my mom was adopted by her grandmother, making my mom and the hooker birth mother of hers sisters by law. So I have an aunt grandma who's a hooker, but grandma, who I was raised as grandma, died, who was the good one that had money. She wanted to live to see my graduation. She never did. My mom failed to meet up to her mother's dreams, so she actually didn't make that high school graduation. And my uncle, who was an uncle-in-law on my father's side, drove from Crescent City 80 miles, hauling ass to see my high school graduation. Something my mom could have fucking do. She went to my brother's stupid 8th grade graduation at Citrus the same day. It's like, it's 8th grade. No one cares. Like, this is fucking high school. I survived. Like, I was so bad, I failed out of classes. I had to take PE instead of math, which was a weird conversion they had to do. I failed English, but I took it over the summer and just aced it at the top, and the teacher's like, wow, you did good. You shouldn't have failed here. It's like, yeah, I know. I even got an award from the Golden State exam, or like a writing thing, and the teacher that gave it, like, how'd you get this? You're really bad. It's like, oh, I'm really good, actually. My life had a bunch of bad stuff going on, so I didn't really care. But I got my stuff together, graduated high school, worked, kept to myself. When I went to Pride in 2003 in San Francisco, it was the year I was 18. It was the year they made it illegal to discriminate. The Privacy Act protected gays and lesbians as far as extending their bedrooms. So you can no longer be arrested for having anal sex, like, because that was invasion of your privacy, and that was things that was happening. People would like. Some guy broke up with his boyfriend, and he knew his ex-boyfriend was with another boyfriend. So we'd call the cops, say, "Hey, this house is being robbed," and then the cops would burst in and see these two guys banging, and then they would put them both in prison. That was a true story, and that was one of the stories that ended up. I hope those guys got their lives together and they didn't lose their stuff. But that was 2003 was a big year for gay rights, and after that, my mom said something on the way down there, on my way down there. I was like, going to gay pride, just like, oh, and she said something really dumb, really bad. I was like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. I hung up on her, and I didn't talk to her for like 6 more months. I was like, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. My family on my ex-stepdad's side were very pissed at my mom for what she did. They were rednecks. They weren't religious. I mean, they still believed in some kind of Jesus, but they never practiced. But my grandmother on that side, she was, totally like, you're born gay, but you shouldn't be able to call it gay marriage. You should call it something else, which didn't make sense. Like, you acknowledge and you believe and you know that we're born gay, but you don't understand that you don't want to give us the same thing as you have, even though you've been divorced once or twice or something. I mean, hey, we want to have the same rights to fuck up too. And also, if we're paying taxes as full citizens, we should have the same equal rights as you. Otherwise, I don't want to fucking pay taxes because I'm not a full citizen. I'm second class. If I'm second class, I don't want to pay for your shit. I'll pay less taxes. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. But, she still had her opinion. She slipped the word gay's instead of saying AIDS one time. And she has gay friends and family or new people. So she wasn't bad. But, I mean, her kids all came out to be, or the boys came out to be homophobic, which was stupid as hell. But like, ever since that connection with my mom happened, I lost touch. I didn't really feel that connection with my family. My grandparents, who convinced me to say my dad on my father's side, they turned their backs on me, and they said, well, we think you should try with a woman first before you say you're gay. I was like, it doesn't work like that. And the funny thing is, my grandpa tells me years later, it's him and his army buddy, like, well, if women are doing this, why can't men try? But he never actually had sex with his male friend just to see it. But, I mean, it's a human curiosity is a natural thing. I mean, it's just, before religion and all this bullshit, we used to be just sexual creatures. We fuck anything we want. We'd breed with the women. Women were unfortunately treated like crap. That's not okay. But the women were meant to raise the children back then, and to, be the ones to carry on your bloodline for the male. Women were treated as equals, unfortunately, but I mean, that was the bad part. But no, there was no gay or lesbian thing. There was nothing. I mean, men could have female or male lovers. It was the same as the animal kingdom. Any creature that's capable of love can love a female or a male or both. And, at some point, and around the time when the Romans took over, they copied all the Greek laws, and they had the same shit going on because really no one cared. And then the Corinthian king's like, oh, no one's breeding because men don't understand the menstrual cycle, and they think it's gross because, we're uneducated, we're stupid, or we just don't have science yet. Well, we need to stop this gay thing, or men having sex, so we're going to outlaw this so we can build up the population for the armies and to keep the breeding going, because they want armies. And then monotheism comes around and says, okay, we're going to copy these laws, but then they took them out of context, and then that fucked up the entire history of the world for gays. So there you go. That's how that happened. But anyway, I didn't know that stuff till way later. The coming out was difficult, and my life had a very difficult turn from that. It was really hard, and it's hard to talk about, and my brain is so mixed and crazy with everything going on about it that it's hard to keep it in thoughts, because my thoughts are like that's just how my brain works, and why it's difficult for me as growing up as an adult in our world, being someone who's not disabled but is slightly slow. Like, my brain patterns are really weird, so like sometimes I'll have a thought, but like I'll just have more go off and I'll jump at them. So it's really hard to do that, and especially it sucks when it's inappropriate shit I shouldn't say, and I'm like, oh, oops. But I would, No, I don't want to. I'll come to that point in a bit. Um, and ever since then, I was fine. I mean, like, I grew up with Queer as Folk being my, like, you know, how the world is for gays and stuff. And it was just like, oh, okay, a lot of sex, you know, this and that, the drama. Your body has to be this. XY magazine was really big then. You had to be twink, smooth and hairless, and be all this stuff. And it was just really, really difficult situation for me growing up because I had body hair and I hated my body and I wasn't, you know, in the perfect shape and it was just sucked. I like video games and it was really difficult. So you know, I had to deal with homophobia. I never actually got physically attacked for being gay. When I was 18, I went to the gay club and I met a guy who unfortunately did a lot of drugs and now he's, you know, wait, I don't know what's going on with him. He might be dead, which sucks. But he was my first real kiss, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced at that point in my life. The time stopped, the room spun. It was so great. But he broke my heart because I was still technically a virgin, and that's what he wanted to do. And so, but I never did that, and I was afraid, and I cried, and then we were friends. But then, kind of, he stopped going to the club, and that was the end of that. And it was just my friends. My friends I met from KFC. They were older than me, but like, you know, they're probably 7 years older than me or so. They were like, you know, don't go with love. Just have sex. Just fuck everyone. You know, just be like what everyone does. And it's like, okay, so I kind of gave up on finding the boyfriend. I mean, I tried, but I mean, it was like, you know, sex seemed to be the way to go. You have sex with them first, and you do it. And that's not how I am true to the heart. But unfortunately, because I grew up with that mindset, and that's how Queer as Folk was, it's really difficult to break that. It's just like, well, what do people want nowadays? It's like, I want love, but if you say you want love, then people are like, oh, you want commitment? Oh, that's weird. But then if you say you don't want love, you just want to bang, then it's like, then that becomes, you know, then you're just a slut. So it's like, where's the middle ground there? Like, where do you go? You go on a date? Do you have sex the first time? Who knows? I mean, it's really hard to be a new gay coming out, especially when you have all the older gay guys, the people that were like gay in the 70s and stuff, and you're in your 20s and they're in their 40s and plus. They're all on the touchy-feely and stuff. Like, if I had little chest hair showing, they would just have their hands on it and stuff. I mean, I got a free drink out of it when I was old enough to drink, but I mean, other than that, it was still, like, weird. Like, my generation, you know, you don't touch, you don't do that stuff, you need consent. I mean, and that's more and more prominent, or it should be, as we go on, as each year goes by. But it's a lot of it's changed, and so it's a really weird awakening. Like, when my ex came out and he went to his first gay bar, he'd have guys, like, you know, take their beer bottles and, like, push it towards, like, his butthole, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's completely rude, and he didn't like that. He was raised in Alabama and stuff. He was a southern boy with, you know, manners and a draw and dreamy eyes, and, oh, God, what a jerk. That didn't end well, but he was my first boyfriend, technically. We met through World of Warcraft. Go figure, and I'm still playing this game, but not because I'm him. But yeah, it was a really difficult thing going through, and I was still didn't acknowledge depression or stuff. I mean, I was actually having a boyfriend. I had friends who were gay, but not actually out yet. They didn't come out till way later, and so just trying to find that. And I didn't do well in college because my priorities weren't straight, and I wish I had done better. So the point of this was, you know, coming out can be difficult. It's very, very difficult. I mean, it's not always going to be a happy story like, say, in that adorable fairy tale movie, P.S. I Love You. No, that's when it's like something Love Simon. P.S. Love Simon or something like that. It's so cute. Such adorable movie. I watched it twice in one night, and I was just like, I wish that was my little love story with the parents and all this stuff. It was so good. I highly recommend watching it. I'm gonna go tell you what the name is because I'm dumb. I can't remember it. It's called. Oh, it's called Love Simon. Love Simon is the name of that movie, and it has a very adorable actor in it who was in a couple other movies I liked, and I can't remember his name. But it's just a beautiful little high school love story about him coming out to his family and, you know, finding who his true love was, and it was such a cute story. I mean, but the reality of it is they probably broke up after high school or something. But you know, you want to live in a fairy tale world. Um, so you know, coming out can be difficult. Sometimes you have a good time. You know, you see videos of the mom and stuff there and hugging the kid, and the kid's crying, and he gets the hug and it's okay. But there's times where it's not good. I did not have a happy coming out. It was a very terrible experience, and I wanted to die. I mean, my grandma died. My cat was killed by my mom's husband. Um, they didn't want to take him to the vet, so they made me dig a hole, then they threw him in it and shot him, so he died in fear. He died in fear. That was very harsh. Still upset about that, and it was many, many years ago. 18 or 19 years ago. And he was only 10 or 11, too. Because he was born... Actually, I don't know how old he was. He was born on my birthday, but I don't remember the year. Anyway, it was harsh. I mean, like, I didn't have anything, and I was sad about that, and was just... I was angry. When I was in college, I was angry, and I was angry towards adults that weren't teachers. I didn't trust them. Anyone who was older that was my mom's age, I was somewhat hostile to. One lady will not forgive me ever, and I've begged and apologized to her, trying to get her to say, like, look, I liked you, but at the time I was bitchy, and I was angry, and I was in pain, and I want to tell her, like, you know, the reason I was like that was because of what happened to me, and I didn't realize how I was coming off to people, but it wasn't your fault. It was my fault that I was completely in pain because of everything that happened, and I didn't know how to let go of the pain. I was holding on to hatred, and I realized that if I let go of my hatred, I will feel better, and I did, and I shed a lot of that negativity I didn't need. And I wouldn't want anyone to go through the coming out experience I did, but I wouldn't change anything either, because if I didn't come out and I waited, I may not have left that shitty town. I may not have left that state. I may not have gotten to where I am now and have a path and have a vision for what I want for the future. I may be dead. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how bad it could be. When I had my story last night on Twitch when I did it live, I heard some stories of, you know, a friend of mine, I'm on a streamer that I talked to on there. He's 19, but he hangs out with all his guy friends. He's kind of a bro, and he has religious family members. They go to church and stuff. But he's like, you know, he's afraid to come out, and he doesn't want to let people down. But it's like I said, you know, I understand that, but you're living your life for yourself. You don't stay in the closet and pretend to be straight to make someone happy. If you go marry a woman, she's gonna be living a lie, not realizing that she's with someone who's never going to love her. I mean, maybe if it's like a sham marriage where you're both doing it because you want to keep it a secret, then that's fine. But I mean, don't ruin someone's life for it. It's not healthy, because you're going to be in your 40s and successful and kill yourself. This happens to tons of businessmen. They kill themselves for no reason. And it's like, oh yeah, well, there's a good chance they were gay. They just couldn't deal with their sham of a life. Look at all these freaking Republicans out there who are making their lives hell, our lives hell, by voting anti-gay laws in, and they're caught having sex in the office and getting hookups on Grindr and stuff. It's like, it's bullshit. It's like, you don't want to end up like that. Just fucking come out, and if you're afraid to, get the hell out of the place you're in. Go somewhere better. I mean, if you're not gonna fix it, then why do you bother staying there? But don't make it worse, because you become part of the problem, and then you want us to welcome you into our little gay club that we have. It's like, oh, I'm gay now. It's like, yeah, fuck you. You passed a law that basically says it's okay to bully me because of religious freedom. Fuck that. No, thank you. And if you're living in a bad state and you want to come out, you know, you got to make sure you have resources. If you're younger, like, you want to make sure there's a place for you to go. Do you have family who's going to take care of you? Did your parents split up? What about your other family member? Would they be able to protect you? Do you have a safe haven to go, like something? I mean, there are places to save you, but you need to make sure you're okay. I was inspired to do this video by a guy who, he has a Russian family. They were from that area of the world, living here in the States. And it's not, people kill, and they take the gays to places like concentration camps. And they'll torture them and abuse them, and they'll take the families like, hey, your kid's gay. Either you're going to kill him or we're going to do it. And parents will throw their kids out the window to their deaths. There was a gay, well, semi but supposedly gay, but he's gone now. He was a musician, a popular entertainer there. He disappeared, and no one ever saw him again because that part of the world just fucked up, and it's horrible, and it's not. I mean, we think we have it bad here, but just look at places like the Middle East, where you can just be stoned on the street, and no one will even care. And it's I don't know if Uganda still has the kill the gay bill, but that was a thing and it passed. And it's like, you know what? Let them all leave and let them come here. Let them come to a country where it's safer for them. Don't kill them. Just, if you don't want gays in your country, get rid of them. As in, give them the option to live. Because killings is just as bad as supposedly being gay is. So don't murder. Just put them somewhere else. Don't torture them. Just like, here, we don't want you in our country. It's going to suck, but at least give them a chance to live and work on bettering that world from the outside. Maybe that's their fear. They don't want that to happen either. But if you're thinking about coming out, you got to be careful. You want to make sure you have a support group because it's a scary time. I mean, a lot of these teen and youth suicides are because of this very reason, because of fear. You can't let fear drive you because then the opposition wins. You need to make sure you have friends to support you, and you need to find a place to go. And if you can wait, don't rush it like I did. Don't rush it. Just know that your life will get better. Just get to a point where you can get out of the situation you're in, or try, move, or something. I mean, you can get a job, save up money, move somewhere else. I mean, restart your life over. You need to live your life for you, not for anyone else, not to make your parents happy. No, your parents had their life. Their job was to make themselves happy, not you. You need to make you happy. And you being happy is all that matters. And if your parents don't want you in your life because you chose to come out and be yourself, then they don't deserve to have you in their life. They have their own problems, and it's just education and lack of knowledge and knowing why someone's gay. It's really sad. So instead of hating someone for that, I feel bad for them, because really, they're fighting their own demons themselves. I mean, a lot of the homophobia comes from people that are gay. Hitler is a bad example. He did the extreme, but he was a closet gay. I mean, there's historical evidence that Hitler was a homosexual. And he did of the worst. It was really the Jews he hated, but then he also targeted us. Why? Because he hated that so much about himself that he viewed that hatred. And I only slipped the fucking faggot word in that moment when I was angry about Pang and Justin at making out, and I was like, and I realized I was jealous because I wasn't the one making out with Pang. I'm the one that wanted to kiss him. I wanted to be the boyfriend, and it was so. And you feel jealousy. Jealousy can lead to anger. Anger leads to pain. Pain leads to the dark side. I probably said this on order, but I went dark side. But then I realized it, and I stepped back. I admitted the issue, and it was over. But it didn't go the way I had hoped, like in the fairy tales and Hollywood and stuff do, but I have no regrets. I'm better now. As far as I am now, I'm not like a successful business owner. Unfortunately, I made unwise financial decisions. Like, I was unemployed. I was fired for being gay from a local business in Eureka. And we unfortunately were required to sign a non-disclosure agreement, meaning you could quit without warning, and you could be fired without reason. So they could fire you for being black or gay or whatever, but they don't have to tell you why. It's like, oh, you're fired, goodbye, and you can quit. And just like, I'm just gonna quit. Just like, okay, no harm done. You don't have to put your 2 weeks in. And they argue against it, said, oh, that's not why you're fired. I was fired in the same week the other gay guy was fired at the same freaking week. And he didn't have anything on him either. He was fired because he randomly did a background check on him, found that he stole something. He had a juvenile record. He stole something at 12. It's like, oh, you stole this at 12, so you're fired. It's like, he was fucking fantastic in his department, but a lot of the like Republican closeted Christian people in that town would go to that restaurant or that grocery store because it was owned by one of those types, and they liked that, but they didn't like the diversity in there. The two black guys got fired from there. Many people, like many different people, got fired from there. It was a shitty job, and everyone I knew who got a job there was like, "Hey, you're gonna hate this job." It's like, "No, I love it here." Months later, yeah, I hate it. It's like, I told you so. But because I was fired. It was during the Bush administration economy crash. I lost my job, so it was unemployment, and I didn't have that much built on unemployment because I was already done with KFC and I was full on vegetarian by then. Slightly vegan, but I was vegetarian. I had the unemployment check, which was barely enough to cover rent, and I lived the rest of my credit cards to pay all my bills. And I was also not cutting back on spending. I was still, trying to live life to be happy because I was fighting depression, not realizing it was depression. Because I was raised on, oh, poor abused Bajani, which really, it was depression. It should be taken care of with medication. So I put myself in a financial hole or a rut. In 2011, in October, I got hired at Starbucks. I was there for 5 years, almost. I met someone I really, really loved. That it didn't end well. Then we had a reunion before he moved, and it was the most beautiful night I've ever had in my life. But things ended up getting worse that night because of someone else, and then he disappeared, and I don't know how to find him anymore. I know where he last was, but I have no contact, and I hope he's okay and alive. That was a big major down thing for me. Before that, after I came out, so I was living on my own. I was driving, so I was 18 by then. I met this boy at the mall named Robert. Beautiful, beautiful boy, blue eyes, braces, really short. His haircut was too short though. He was walking with the girls and this little chubby kid, and he was 15, and his eyes just glowed at me. He was just so smiling, and his eyes were beaming, and he was just all aglow with me. He was just, right there, I knew that he loved me. Right there, he was just so infatuated with me, and we became friends. But I was very careful because it was really big to, oh, you're gay and my son's gay? What? Oh, no. And the son's like, no, I'm not gay, I swear. Then they say the younger kid will say it was rape to not seem gay. The older kid goes to prison when it was consensual. And then that guy's life's ruined, but it wasn't statutory, it was consensual. I guess that could be argued, but sometimes lives are ruined because they're afraid to come out, so they end up ruining the lives of the one they loved in order to protect themselves because of fear of their family. Don't let that happen to you. Don't be that person. Just don't have sex when you're young. There you go. Problem solved. Wait till you're an adult. Wait till you're out of your family's home, so that way you have freedom. So I was very careful with Robert, and we talked and stuff, probably on MySpace or whatever it was back then, or AOL, Instant Messenger, I don't know. Drove around and stuff, and he moved away to another town, like 3 hours away, we'd see each other every now and then. He ended up moving to Los Angeles, but he got into this really superficial attitude, like loving Louis Vuitton, all this bullshit and makeup. And he had issues with family. His mom was a drug addict, and she had depression issues. She ended up killing herself, and which really hurt him. His dad was a piece of shit who rejected him. There was other suicides in the family on the cousin side. The family has a lot of tragic stuff, and so Robert, I didn't know about the mother's death until way later. But Robert, he got hooked on drugs and stuff. He could always talk himself out of it, and he was obsessed with weight and makeup and everything, and he would just get so bad. And I was gonna see him in 2011. 2011 was a bad year for me. It was before I got a job at Starbucks. I was going to BlizzCon for this first time. It's like, yay, BlizzCon. And I was like, hey, Robert, you live down there. And I thought Anaheim and LA were like the same town. I was wrong. I say, yeah, I'm waiting for Diablo 3, so we're going to see each other and stuff. So that was our chat in the summer, and we're reconnected on Facebook and, everything. And Robert, before that, he did come back and visit me twice. One time we spent the night together, and that was it was very nice. and even just outside of that, we cuddled and we held each other, and it was just beautiful because instead of being superficial and fake and all on the makeup and bullshit around me, he was himself. He didn't care. He was happy. He wasn't caught up in the bullshit. He was just himself, and he felt safe with me, and I knew he did. He slept so comfortably when we were together, and anyway, and so, come September, I'm like checking in to make sure he's okay. I noticed he deleted me off Facebook. I was like, okay, what the hell happened this time? What'd I do? So I message him on September 23rd, and I say, hey, Robert, just I hope you're okay. I wanted to touch bases with you. Let's see how it goes. You know what? I think I have this message. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, please. I haven't read this in many years. Many, many years. Let's see if I can find it. Come on. I hope Facebook doesn't lose these messages because this message is really important to me. Robert. There it is. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, that's not the wrong message. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. We talked we talked on June 14th, 2011. He said, "Oh, sorry, my life has been extremely insane for the last year and a half. Major roller coasters. At the moment, I am just staying with a couple friends, but that's only till the end of the month. I have no idea exactly what I'm going to do then, so I can't even attempt to project an estimate of where I will be then, or I would have gladly offered that you stay with me. Is BlizzCon a thing to do with Blizzard, the gaming company? I've been waiting on Diablo 3 for freaking years. Anyway, I hope you will shoot me a text sometime. Here's my number." So there's that. And I said, yeah, you're right on the money. BlizzCon is the big gaming convention hosted by Blizzard Entertainment this year. Pretty sure it's mostly going to be about Diablo 3. I think beta keys are going out as well. Last year at BlizzCon, they revealed the new class, Demon Hunter. Don't know how much they will be talking about StarCraft or WoW, but I know for sure that Diablo 3. So, didn't respond after that. So, then it's a couple months before BlizzCon. It's usually in the beginning of November. I send him another message like, hey, I'm a bit confused, or I guess I just don't understand why. Did I hurt you or say something to make you sad? Seems that every so often one of us will find the other one, add them, and then you end up unfriending me. So I kind of called the blame on there, so I shouldn't have done that, but that's the truth. I said, I can't recall any time I've ever hurt you. I've been there for you when I could. I never took advantage of you, always offered you friendship and a place to crash if you were in the area. But maybe I did or said something that offended you. I honestly don't know. But I'm sorry for whatever it is or was. I was just seeing how you were doing and seeing if you knew where you'd be mid-October because I'll be heading to LA then. I guess BlizzCon was a month in October. Weird. So, yeah, I sent him that message and then I went to bed. I sent that at 2:23 in the morning. And then 12 hours later, I got a response. John, this is Robert's mother. Last Wednesday, Robert checked into Tarzana Treatment Center. Friday morning, roommate couldn't wake him. He had passed away in the night. His memorial service is October 8th at 1 in Plummer Park in West Hollywood. Again, Robert's mother. Robert was a very amazing young man. Fortunately, because of his many horrendous experiences as a child and his boy growing up, he had a roller coaster pattern to his life. He would have hundreds and sometimes thousands of people and then 6 weeks delete most of them. This wasn't just his roller coaster on Facebook, this was his life. Doing well, not doing well. 1.5 years ago, one of his first AA sponsors told me, sometimes the most loving thing a merciful God can do is to take someone home. I remember saying, hell no, not my child. But as time wore on and Robert's addictions became more intense and his drugs more dangerous, I began to remember that statement. Last Thursday, Robert and I spoke. He said God spoke to him on Wednesday while reading the book Soul Cravings. Robert was a very spiritual man, which I never understood. And with great and mighty beliefs in the God of the universe. Thursday night, he went to sleep and he woke up in the arms of Jesus. We greatly missed the son and brother my family chose. I thank God for every minute I knew him. Blessings on you, John. We lived and prosper. I haven't read this in so long. I know Robert's back. So I wrote a long letter, and she's not his birth mother. His birth mother died. She died to suicide as well. She killed herself in her grandfather's house. Oh, I've never shared that with anyone. That's something I hope I never lose that. Yeah, I lost Robert, and I didn't know I could have saved him. And the funny thing was I was wanting to move to Las Vegas at the time. I was pissed because I lost my job, and I lost my job, so I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna move to Vegas, start anew, and Pang was down there, but I hadn't seen him, and I didn't really fall back into that thing yet. Well, actually, I did. I reunited with Pang. That was after my ex and I broke up from Alabama, and so Pang was kind of the Band-Aid boyfriend. But I knew we wouldn't have that connection, so I was like, if I move to Vegas, I can reconnect with Robert and maybe take Robert from where he was. I knew he was in a good situation, so my goal was to reconnect with him and hopefully have a magical moment where he was like, yeah, I want to take you with me. I want to get you away from this bad life. And you could just play video games, and you could be yourself, and, we can see where it goes. But that never happened, and I regret that every day forever. And I miss him. And he had a mental health issues, and that's another thing. I suffer mental health, and I didn't realize it till about 2 years ago. And I'm taking depression for anxiety, bipolar, and depression, anxiety, and bipolar. And this really helps me a lot. I also make sure I state that on when I apply for jobs. So if they say I'm acting weird, it's because I have this medical issue. Robert never got medical help, and he took drugs and bad drugs, and he would wake up with needles in his arms. He might have had HIV. He might have had every disease in the book. He should have been arrested multiple times, but he would always talk his way out of it. But he was the most beautiful person, and I'm not comforted by the fact that he was found spirituality, and we never met eye to eye on that. But I am glad that he felt comfortable with that, and if he believed he died, if he felt he went somewhere when he died, then that's good for him, but that doesn't give me the comfort. And the person who had control of his Facebook, she was not his mother. He called her mom. He was friends with the daughter, but she tried to send him to a gay cure camp in that town because he lived in a redneck county in California. But he still went to her anyway because she just, I don't know what her agenda was, but she stole his body, she stole his belongings and stuff. The real family never got anything back. They finally got the ashes after a court battle and pressing charges and stuff. I never got to have anything. I wanted ashes. I wanted something to have of his, but I have nothing. I have nothing physical, no physical, tangible object of that was us. There's nothing, and I hate it. The only thing I don't have is he took my black shirt, and I don't have that either, because he needed to change clothes or something when he stayed. I guess he got wet or something when you were staying the night. But yeah, mental health is serious, and I've lost someone because of it, and they went complete dark side. And I suffer from it, but I'm okay. I have my cats. I had two cats, Angel and Spike. Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, thank you. Spike passed away on the 23rd of March in 2018. It was really difficult. It was almost as hard as losing Robert. And Angel got depressed. I got two more cats. And Angel and Spike were the same age. They were 15. Angel's now 16. I got two girls, Darla and Drew, also Buffy character names. They're not fixed yet because I have no money. Angel gets along with them. He unfortunately rapes them because that's how cats do it. He's fixed, thankfully. But they keep him young, and I hope I have many more years with Angel because he's so affectionate and I love him to death. He is my entire heart, and there's just enough room for the girls in there too. But he's my baby, and the girls are, I don't know where he is. He's probably sleeping on the floor like a dummy again. The girls are in their little beds on the chair. You could see one to my left. That's Darla. Drew's farther over. But with everything that I've gone through, I've not given up. I mean, part of me has kind of given up on finding love. It's just because it's so difficult. Because, like, how do you tell someone, you know, I have all this going on. I have this baggage. I have this pain. I've been through this, but I want to be in. I want to love you, and I want you to love me. How do you tell someone that, and have them not like, no, I'm backing out. This is too much. I mean, that's, you either don't tell them, then they think you're weird because they don't know what's going on with you and why you are the way you are, or you do tell them and they back away anyway. I've tried both, and it just doesn't help, unfortunately. So I just have to keep myself focused. 18 years later, I would say that I'm doing well. I had a job working for social services for about 3 years. I was helping people, and I loved it. I played so many video games, being the hero, Legend of Zelda, that I got this hero complex. I want to make people happy. I love Zelda so much. I sang in the Zelda Symphony, and I loved bringing happiness to people through the power of my voice with a choir and accompanied by an orchestra. It was so fantastic. I've sang for National Geographic, given the same feeling, but Zelda was way more because it would hit me at home. I knew the music, I know by heart, and it's just who I am. Like, I don't know if you can hear it, the music's playing in the background from Zelda Symphony and recordings from other concerts that I was and was not in, and just like soundtrack stuff. But it was a wonderful experience, and that I did that, and that helped me. But it didn't get me to where I am with it. Like, it didn't do enough for the depression. It was still difficult to deal with. So yeah, I was doing that. I lived in there, but I had a boss who she's a freaking Nazi. She was not a Nazi, but she hated Jewish people. She was like anti-gay too, and she could not stand me. And I tried to be nice to her, but she was just so petty, and she was so judgmental, and she was so mean, and she made a joke out of me. Like, everything I tried to do right, she would always go say that was wrong. And one day she just did something after I did something wonderful and helped a customer. I didn't snap, but I was just like, you know what? Fuck that bitch. I'm done. I can't do this. And I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I started looking at a place in Seattle, because that's where I had a friend who could do my cosplay, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can move to Seattle. She could do my cosplay, and like, I'll be not too far from home, and I'll be in a new place, new area, and be done. And I couldn't find a place that would take 3 cats. I'm not giving up my kids. No, thank you. I would rather be homeless in my car with them than be without them. So not an option. So I just happened to remember I had a friend who owned a house and rented out the basement. Messaged her. She's like, yeah, it's actually opening at mid-February. It's like, perfect, I'm coming. Turned out she's in Maryland. Thought it was a different state, like Wisconsin or Idaho. Nope, Maryland. It's like, okay, sweet. It's like, I want it. So I set up like the move and everything. Got that all set up. I put my 2 weeks in for my job. I should have turned my boss in first and said I'm quitting because of hostile work environment, but I was going to give her a clean slate, but that bitch like gave me a shitty fucking she gave me a shitty evaluation, so I turned her in and got that bitch transferred. Unfortunately, it didn't hold up for unemployment, so I got cut off from money completely. It's been really harsh. But I moved. I applied for the jobs out here, same one I had. I'm good to go. And I was set, and after everything's already set in stone, I put my 2 weeks in. You know, it's done. I've got the place lined up. It's saved for me. The move's happening. I'm losing my apartment because I said I was moving. So, and then I didn't get the job. It's like, okay, well, I'll just find some shitty jobs. So I still want the move, but it's like, you know what? I could just go to school because I need to get my degree, because I didn't get the job because I don't have a bachelor's degree. So if I get a bachelor's degree, I can get the job back and I'll be fine. So it's like, I'm going to school. And then I talked to the people that run my trust fund, that my grandma on my mother's side, the non-hooker, the one who died, said, yeah, well, this is for kids to go to school. And like, I didn't take school seriously. My next 2 siblings down didn't really take it seriously. And the 2 youngest ones, my mom convinced to not take seriously, so that when my youngest brother turns 27, it's all cashed out. And then it's split among the 5 of us, or there are surviving kids at that point. So when the youngest kid turns 27, rather. But my mom, who is greedy and selfish and completely toxic and poison and a horrible person. Um, she does not benefit. The world does not benefit with her at all in it. I mean, if she was buried in the ground, the ground would not. You would not be able to plant a tree on there or anything. It would be poisonous. It'd be toxic. I mean, we're talking like in the Hobbit, Smaug falling in the ground, and where that part of the Middle Earth was just dead. Nothing could grow there after that because that was just how bad he was. That's my mom. She convinced the youngest siblings to not take education seriously and get shitty jobs. My brother's like glass blowing. My sister's like working for some place called Tuesdays or Next Tuesday or some stupid department store. It's like, okay, I agree that you're gonna really make a career off of that. It's like, no, you're gonna be a piece of shit just like mom and do nothing. So the plan is they want that money after. Remember, sister's like, I'm gonna buy a car with that. It's like, I'm going back to school. And they got all pissed. It's like, hey, this money's for school, not for you to be stupid. You want a car? Get a job. I used the personal money that we each had for my first car. I don't know what you did with yours. And then I worked and I got a car from that. This money is for school, not for your car. I'm not going to just remain dumb and work shitty jobs at Starbucks or something just so you can get a car. Get a fucking job and go to school and get a brain. And my mom made my siblings so pissed at me and stuff. She's threatened to sue the trust fund people just to stop me from doing this, which ironically would then use the trust fund to pay for the lawyers to protect the accountants, causing my mom to lose. Then the trust fund's gone. That would be no education, and the money would be gone. There'd be no inheritance, and I need to go to school. So it's really hard for me to go to school, because I know that's going to come back, and my family cannot find me now, because I've set myself to where they're not able to contact me anymore. I did say goodbye to certain family members on my grandparents on my father's side, and certain friends, but and I've not many people know where I am. And my mom just made it selfish and greedy, like he's moving across the country for a man, that's all it is. And it's like, no, I mean, ironically, I doubt she'd remember the internet boyfriend I had from Virginia, which he's not too far from me, but that did not play into it at all. Like, no, we're like Facebook friends that don't talk. Like, there's nothing between us at all. And yeah, she's just totally like, you should be proud of your fucking kid to want to continue their education, because so she's like, you got a degree. Associate arts degree associate of arts does nothing anymore, at least in the state of Maryland, and it's gonna carry on in other states. AA degrees are shit. Bachelor's degrees are starting to look like shit. You have to get your master's, because I wouldn't be surprised there's some kind of symbiotic relationship between businesses and schools where, oh, we want the schools to get more money. Gotcha. Let's make the jobs require higher degrees so the kids have to go to school more. It's like, okay, so now kids have to go to school more, the schools get more money, and kids to work more to pay back those debts, and the jobs are limited. But it could end up hurting the jobs if the kids don't get degrees. I mean, if people started fighting this process, I think that the jobs would have to then lower the bar again back to bachelor's degrees, because it's ridiculous. But also people are breeding like fucking crazy, so it's just a competitive world out there. That being said, my goal is to make a good mark on the world. I mean, two things I want out of life. I mean, one of them, which is a personal one, is I would love to continue to sing in symphony orchestra stuff. I really want to be a part of the Japanese orchestra that's used to create the music for Legend of Zelda. I want to sing in those choirs. I want to be a part of that. If I can have any kind of legacy and have my mark on the world for something like that, I don't need fame. I always like to have my name, John Pendragon, seen in the credits of Legend of Zelda, like in just all future games. I don't even want to make money off that. I don't want royalties. I just want to do it. I mean, they could maybe pitch in to help me with the travel costs and stuff, but I'm sure I could do a GoFundMe for that or something, but I don't know how to get into that. But in that, I would be making people happy, because games like Legend of Zelda and the music from Zelda and the concerts bring happiness to people. I know it does, because I listen to music daily. I am listening to music now. It's keeping me calm, even though I have my medication and I'm on it. But it's helped me when times were tough. I know it does the same for people. It brings happiness and tears of joy and laughter, and it's what I want to give to people. And also, I'm going to school. I was going to go for social work, but I took too many classes that didn't work for the social work degree, so I'm going to go for a degree in child and adolescent studies, which fits in well. I get my bachelor's in that, and I get a master's either in social work, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to do it in counseling because I want to be like a youth counselor or a school counselor because I want to be there for the kids that need it. I want to be what my counselor did for me. She gave me a glimmer of hope that there were people like her out there that cared, and it was her alone that made me feel safe and like it was okay worth going on. I don't exactly know or remember what happened. I don't know what happened with her, what my mom said to her, and how that conversation went. I think I want to ask her, but I do know that it wasn't pretty. One other thing I found out that I just remembered I forgot to talk about was that when my mom, I found this out 2 years ago, maybe 3, when my mom had me sent away, I always blamed her husband for it, and it was true and not true. I mean, he respects me as a man because I don't do drugs. I've owned a home and I've sold it, and I've got a degree and I had a decent job. He respects me because of those things, and his kids didn't really do so well. They're kind of not on the path that he would have desired, but I mean, he hasn't really apologized for that, but he respects me as a human being, as a man, and he's proud of me, which is good. So, I mean, like, we've actually done the hug kind of thing, and he's okay with that. But I believe if I talk to him, I can make him better understanding of me and gay, and maybe even shake his beliefs and look into himself and see that he was wrong. But he told me the reason he pushed my mom to send me away was because of what she was going to do to me. He didn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me what she was going to do, but the thing she was going to do, he said it was like, and he had this snaggle tooth when he talked, like, and it was vile, like, he knew it was bad, and it was like he was worried for my safety. So the only way to get me out of there was to convince her to get me out of there in order to, but not to protect me, just to send him away and make him live with his dad, whatever the argument he did, it worked to get me to send away instead of allowing her to beat it out of me, because she was going to do some pretty bad shit. I mean, I could have been dead. She's bipolar. She was the kind of person who would run up with, like, take a knife to her throat, I'll slit my throat, blah, 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 or she'd take the guns and shoot at the tires and stuff like that. It was really bad. So he may have saved my life. And yeah, my mom is the reason why they divorced. He wasn't perfect either, but I mean, he pities my mom for how she's become, and it's not his fault. I'm planning on school. I think I said this, plan on school. I'm gonna get this done. Whether I have to go doctorate or not, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it because the trust fund only has so much money left, and I don't want to drain it, but I can't let my life aside. I mean, like, really, since my mom had my siblings disown me, like, I shouldn't have to give a fuck, because this money was put aside for any one of us to use all of it or all of us to split it. Like, there is no rule against it. It just is for educational purposes, so I can do what I want with it. If I want to go to school forever, as long as I'm using it, getting good grades, and accomplishing a degree, I can. But I do have some concern for my siblings. I mean, I could try, like, if I get money, I could, like, say, okay, here's some money for what you could have got. You didn't use it for education when you had the chance, and it's your dumb fault. But here's your cut, because you thought you were going to get a lot of money out of it, but no, you weren't. You were going to dumb school. Like, basically, you're just doing high school a second time in community college. Yeah. But right now, with all these things going on, I have still been out of work since I got here March 3rd in Maryland. I'm out of money. I have enough for, like, gas for my car, cat food, and maybe cat litter. I'm on food stamps and Medicaid, which is embarrassing because that was my job to give people those. Now I'm on that freaking programs. I may have a job at Safeway coming up. It was applied for the Safeway Starbucks, but she said the cashier position opens too. I was like, I would prefer that. I've done Starbucks. I mean, I could do either, but I'd rather have the Safeway instead of Starbucks, just so I can do something different. I'd rather just mundane, register money, customer service, put your shit down the line, be done with it all. I'm okay with that kind of a job. And she may do that. I filled out online paperwork after the interview today, but it still says we'll get back to you about the job, and my friends are gonna help me with getting supplies for that. But I'm still $45,000 in debt, which I don't know how I'm gonna pay. It's not even a student debt, and I pretty much to give up. I can't give up. I mean, the thing that's tethering me to this world, other than I want to save the world and save people from all the shit going on, is my cats. I love those babies so much, and if something happened to me, I don't trust anyone in the world to take care of them and give them what they need. Angel would be devastated if I just never came back one day. When I'm gone, even for a few days for like a convention or something, he'll sleep in my chair and he won't do much anything. He'll stay where it smells like me the most, and he'll just be kind of mope around till I get home. The girls they're still young. They could go on without me, but I know they'd miss me. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? This is difficult to talk about. I've touched over some stuff. I didn't touch over someone else. I did mention I met a guy after Robert passed. I wasn't really wanting to love anyone after that. I met a guy named Michael, and he was just wonderful and beautiful and so perfect. It was like he was Robert 2.0. And I met him at Starbucks, and I was the first person I told face to face that I had feelings for. And it took me a year to finally tell him that, and I was so afraid, but it worked out well. And he didn't reject me like hardcore. He's just like, I don't really date coworkers, but then it's okay. Then I felt awkward after that, and he came to me crying that he was sad that I was not talking to him as much. And he's like, the reasons why it happened, I got close to someone at work, they were doing bad things, and I said nothing. They got fired. They turned on me when it wasn't my fault they got fired. It was theirs. And it hurt me, so I just keep a distance. He's like, okay, he's like, don't stop being you. Because he liked it when I charmed him. I brought him food, to get along with him. Finally, he started hanging out with me. First mutual friends that it was just him and I, but nothing ever happened. He got a boyfriend, and then he quit the job and just stopped talking. And he could tell I was sad, but he was just kind of getting angry at it. He was like, it's because he totally went from like me one night to like just laying in my bed watching Futurama to, I'm gonna be with this stupid guy now that I don't like. And it hurt so bad, and it hurt. I knew he was with someone, but I was in denial until he finally told me when I wanted to hang out with me for my birthday. Or no, it wasn't my birthday, it was something else. He's like, I'm seeing someone else. Like, okay, and then, yeah, it was bad, and he left. I didn't see him for a couple years until I found out he was moving and graduating, so I broke the silence. Like, we would see each other every now and then, but it was always sad. Like, we'd make eye contact. It's like, oh, yeah, there's Michael, and he's like, there's John, and nothing, no smile. Just kind of like you could feel a deep pit of sadness between the two of us. But when I found out he was moving, I contacted him, and I was like, hey, I heard you're moving. I saw you graduated. Congratulations. But I'd hope to see you before we go, just because, I don't want things to end like they did. We got along well. We were good friends, and I would hate to say goodbye and never see you again and never fix this. It's like, oh, that'd be great. And we talked all night. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to come over. It's like, okay, we'll do like a movie thing or something. I live with my ex. Like, I live with my ex, too, because he broke up with that douchebag finally. So, came over, had dinner, watched Bob's Burgers. I made an amazing lasagna because he loved my cooking. And, we had a couple drinks and stuff, and, we were just talking, and then he kissed me, and then things went from there. And it was the most beautiful experience I ever had in my life. And it was the best. It was so powerful. Then he went home because he had to work in the morning. He would have stayed the night, but he had to work at 5. I was like, oh, I'll just give you money. Just call in sick or something. But he didn't. I didn't think of that at the time. And I wish I did, because what happened was he got home that night, and then his ex beat him up. His ex is a drunk piece of shit. His ex hurt his back. Like, I goes back and hurt him and stuff. And so it's like, instead of leaving in 2 weeks and having a goodbye party, he left in 2 days. And, like, I was going to reunite him with all the friends and coworkers from Starbucks. And he left. And I panicked, and I just wanted to see one more time, and I just wanted that smile. I wanted the hug. I wanted something, because I was falling apart, and I was trying to work 2 jobs, and it was horrible. And he's like, ended up blocking me on Facebook, which sucked. I understand why. It was overwhelming. But even after the fact I kind of calmed down, he was still like, he left on a bad note here from what that guy did. And now he's gone. No one knows where he is that I know. He is disappeared off social media. I mean, he probably just deactivated his account because he doesn't show up on mutual friends. But I mean, I just want to know if he's okay. I don't even know that. It's difficult. It sucks. So yeah, not really loved since then. Um, but I think I might have rambled a bit. I mean, like can be struggling. I mean, for someone who comes out as gay and has mental health issues, everything's really hard. I mean, like one, but one's perception of something, can, if they have a wrong perception, and that makes things difficult for you. I learned something which my boss didn't agree with, but it was a training seminar that we were required to go to. She made me go, and I learned it from there. And they taught us, it's like, just if I tell you something or I do something and you have a perception of it that is wrong, that's on you. I do this, but you think that, you're wrong. Because, and if you say, this is my perception, I perceive you doing this, but that's not what I was doing. I was doing this. I'm not the one at fault. It's you. So you need to fix it. As in, if you have a perception of this attitude or this or that reaction, you need to address it, address your confusion, understand it, like, oh, okay, clarify, problem solved. So one of the things that you should come away with, if you got this far, is that one person's perception of something about you is not correct, not always correct. If your intention or your meaning behind something was one way, you know it to be true, and someone perceived it a different way to get a context, that's on them. Especially if they don't attempt to clarify it to understand it better, it's on them. And it's unfortunately, workplaces will punish the one who did the action that was taken out of context. They will not punish the person who got it wrong. And unfortunately, with growing up, not understanding I had mental health issues, not being diagnosed with whatever, I could be autistic or something with how I am slow, and I would even call it mental retardation, but I kind of say it to put myself down, so I don't really like saying that. But I believe it's true. With that, my actions have been, with one intent, have been perceived in another way. And it's unfortunate. And I wish that I knew myself back then, because work would have been easier. I wouldn't have had to gone through a lot of the stuff I did as being an adult, having to grow up too fast. So if you suffer from mental health, if you are questioning your sexual orientation, whether you're gay, bi, lesbian, trans, asexual, pansexual, intergender, I don't remember all of the terms, there's so many now. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you shouldn't have, unfortunately, you shouldn't have to hide who you are. Well, that sentence is wrong, sorry. You should not have to hide who you are. Unfortunately, the world we live in, it's possibly best to do so until you are at a place where you can be safe. To where if you have to have a backup plan, you will. And be safe, and you can get away to protect yourself. Because when it comes down to it, and this is your life, you're living to make you happy. You need to live the life that you want to live, as long as you're not murdering people. But you need to live the life you want to live. Otherwise, you're going to be an unhappy person, and you could be someone who's murdering people, like we have today, and with all these shootings and stuff. So make sure you have a backup plan. Otherwise, it could go the way it went for me. And in some aspects, I would say that I'm better now, and it went well after the fact, but at the same time, it didn't go as well because all the damage is done. I have no connection with my family, I don't trust them. I'm afraid of relationships. I'm afraid of rejection. I am afraid of, well, I'm not afraid of enacting that on my children. I don't think I'm even going to adopt if I don't have a husband who, for like, I want to get married once. Would you two stop it? And that's when the cats are having sex. Angel is loud and he's, Anyway, you want to protect yourself. I mean, if you have friends that you trust and you could tell, that's one thing, and that's good. But if you don't have friends you can confide in, you need to wait. You need to protect yourself because you don't want to end up so afraid you die. When you need to have someone you can go to. You do not want to end your life early because it's not. I mean, even though our world has a bunch of darkness in it, there are still beauty in the world. There are still good things. There are still good people. And there are still people who may need you. Um, so don't end your life early. Don't do drugs. Don't do bad shit because you're afraid. And don't live your life for someone else. In the sense that you're sacrificing yourself, your happiness, to make others happy. Like, I'm going to pretend I'm heterosexual to make my Christian Republican family happy, so I'm the prodigal son or daughter. No, fuck that. That's their problem. You be you. You love who your heart wants you to love. You have no control over it, but that's the beauty of love. It's just, I love that person for no reason why, and it's just complete opposite of what I would expect myself to love. You're told to love women, but you fall in love with a beautiful cheerleader or a boy with braces and bright blue eyes, or a little geek at Starbucks. It just happens and it hits you when you least expect it in the most weirdest moments. But for someone who is now 34, I feel like I've had to grow up fast, and it's been a very long 18 years. I come out again when it's safe, when you know it's safe and you're going to be okay. Don't put yourself at risk. It's not worth it. Focus on school and career first and foremost, or your passion if they coincide with one another. Because you don't want to have petty love and drama and stuff like that get in the way when you are trying to focus on school, because that can ruin things for you. I've seen someone's entire school and everything ruined because of a boyfriend issue, and he lost his license, speeding tickets, he's lost his car, he was failing his classes, completely fucked up his education, and he had no money left. And I tried to be there for him, but he was so lost. I don't remember his name. It was like someone I was just chatting with on that Grindr app, because I like to chat with people, get to know someone. Maybe there's love there, but really it's just chatting. But don't throw your life away like that. Focus on something, but focus on what makes you happy, and make sure you do something that makes you happy. And if you have mental health issues, go see a doctor. Get medication if needed to. Don't pay attention to those people that say antidepressants are trees and walking in the forest. No, that's bullshit. It's a chemical imbalance we have, and in order to help you, it's best to get treated. But, you could find other stuff that finds a balance. Some people find meditation. Music was a wonder for me, but it didn't do the trick completely. But it helps enough. There's my kitty. So do that. And if you ever want to chat or need someone to talk to, you can message me. I mean, I don't follow YouTube that much. I'm not a YouTube streamer. I use Twitch, and I may switch to Mixer because I want to actually be a successful streamer, and Twitch has its determined audience. It's set Twitch streamers, and it has its fan base who already know who they follow. So it's kind of hard to Twitch games that have been around, and stream a game like World of Warcraft and there's already one guy getting 26,000 viewers. Like, okay, can't compete with that guy, and he's annoying anyway. So I'm just gonna go and try something else out. But my name is John Pendragon, spelled the same way that you see on my YouTube channel. Twitch, I'm John Pendragon, no space. Twitter, I'm John Pendragon, or J Pendragon 1985, or just 85, one of the two. Some jackass has my name on there, and he hasn't used Twitter since 2015, and I can't get it back. I can't get it. And Mixer, I am also John Pendragon as well. So, like, if you type in the URL, mixer.com/John Pendragon, there I am. And there's no H in John, as I said, I think. Twitch is the same. But, I'm willing to talk to anyone, listen to their stories. I'm not a certified counselor. I am not a doctor. I have not taken the classes to give you a professional educated suggestion. All I can give you is from my experience and what I think is the best to do, but you have to take from it what you can. And the most important thing is to keep yourself safe. Keep yourself safe. Make sure if you come out, you have a surrogate family, a fail-safe friend, someone to hold you if you fall. If it's not bad, that's awesome. That's amazing. You have a great family. But if it's bad, you want to make sure you're protected. I want to... I can't think of it. I don't know his name. But I was inspired to do this by... I don't think I fully told the tale. He has a Russian guy. He's 18 now, I think. Or he's 21. Might be 18. He came out to his mom through a text or something. And, he had a backup plan and everything, his friend. And before he went home... Angel! Stop it! Before he... Don't you go help him. Let him be on his own. He's annoying. You don't need to play with him. He drove by home and okay, his brother and his dad weren't there. Cars weren't there. And so he goes in. Mom's like, yeah, I got dinner for you. She gave him a really long hug. And the hug was the trigger. It was a long, uncomfortable hug, which he knew right then and there, but he didn't really figure it out that moment. He was just still caught off guard. He saw the food ready. He's like, come on in. And she slams the door, locks it. It's like, he's here. And then the brother and father come and chase him out. And he can't get out the door. He tries to get out to the garage, but his brother and his father's car were in the garage, crammed in there with all their stuff. There was no room in there before, but they actually took all the shit out of there, put the cars in there to hide them, and then put the stuff back in, blocking him from escaping. They beat him up. They tore his clothes. He managed to hide under a car to call the cops. The cops came and made a joke of it and didn't do anything. But the cops said you have to leave and take your car, but his brother managed to steal the paperwork that showed he co-owned the car, so he had nothing. So his friend got him, and he's staying with her. He went to the police department and talked to the sheriff, and the sheriff's daughter just came out to him a few days prior, if maybe a week before. He just went through this for his daughter, and he was there for her. So he reprimanded and he fired those cops, and he did what he could to help this kid. Unfortunately, this kid had an older gay man who pushed him to come out and was rushing him to do it because this was just a horny older piece of shit. And the guy, he set up a GoFundMe and everything to help him out, to get him on his feet, and then the guy just took the money and left. I mean, he's okay now. He had actual supporters come and help him. Stop it! You're crazy. He's okay now. This inspired me to do this. He did it in Pride Month. I wanted to do this in Pride Month, but I would rather do it during my anniversary, which was yesterday. But it could be scary. His was scary. I mean, mine could have been as scary as his. Mine was a different kind of scary. His happened so quick. Mine was drawn out for it was an entire month of fear, or a couple months of fear in the summertime. And yeah, you heard the story. I mean, there's stories that are going to be horrible, and they're really bad and even worse, and that didn't have happy endings. I suppose mine's a happy ending, but I question it because, but I wouldn't change what would have happened. So take from what you will, and if you ever need to talk to anyone, you can always reach out to me. I always want to give advice as best I can, just to at least let someone know someone's there. But I don't want you, as a viewer, as a person, or human being, or whatever, to take your own life because you're afraid. And if you're questioning and you're confused about your feelings, I'm not going to tell you, oh, I think you're gay or you're straight or you're bi. I mean, yeah, it's up for you to determine, but honestly, the label thing is stupid. You're just a human being, and it's natural for you to do it. It's just your body's telling you it wants one thing, while your brain and what you were taught is telling you another thing. Well, your brain was wrong. You were taught wrong. The end. And it's not your fault. The people that taught you that were taught wrong too. So that's about that. Thank you. I don't know how long this recording was. I'm going to post this on YouTube. I will post my links to Twitch and Twitter and Mixer on there as well, and my cosplay fan page on Facebook, which is going to get a revamp to go with. I'm gonna promote myself as my name instead of a different name instead, like Pendragon Cosplay or something. But I will have something with that when I start getting to that again. But for now, I just wanted to get this out there on an uninterrupted video with slight interruptions from video games and my cats. But I mean, hopefully it was easy to follow. Hopefully the audio was well. Hopefully you could hear the music in the background. And hopefully you came away with something from this and it maybe made you feel a little bit better. Oops, I almost knocked it over trying to hit that bug. Hopefully this helps you in some way. At the most part, I hope this helps you. And I hope you have a great day, and thank you. This is my kitty Darla. Just want to say, there's Darla. Hi, Darla. She likes to lick. That's one of my babies. Which is such a weird position she's doing this, and I'm holding her, she's licking me. That was very sweet of her. She's usually not that sweet. Okay, bye.